Mecha may be considered one of the most niche genres in sci-fi, and the most epic way to experience sheer power, brutality, and scale is through gaming. I'm no stranger to the mecha genre, from watching countless Gundam episodes on Toonami to playing the crap out of Armored Core 1 on PlayStation in the 90s. I'm a fan, but I'm also critical. You see, mech games usually focus on movement and combat, which makes sense because that is where we spend most of our time. But what has been missing for quite some time is the practical aspect of mechs in the real world. What would happen if you were actually allowed to own one, and what would be the perfect use case for them? Synduality addresses this. Full disclosure, I am not sponsored in any way. I did play the open network test for 40 hours, so I think I have a good perspective on what we might be getting ourselves into. Although the story still dips its toes into sci-fi, fighting otherworldly monsters and interfacing with an AI companion, Synduality bounces back with a serious nature by grounding itself in reality, with its mechanical movement, weight, limited carrying capacity, and risk. But wait, it's a game. There's nothing risky about it. Oh yes, there is. Extraction shooters are a relatively new genre. Mixing looting mechanics with player versus environment, you're essentially thrown into a situation where everything's trying to kill you, and you need to be smart and skilled to survive. It's quite easy to just dismiss this game. Yeah, I played Tarkov, Ghosts of Tabor, Helldivers 2, so what? What makes this any different? That's the thing. This does that, and it does it good. Losing your mech means you have to rebuild it from the ground up, or piece together kits you've built, picked up along the way. That means if you have a specific build that fits your need, you just lost time and resources. This realistic nature of risk-reward creates an emotional connection between you and the game. You start to feel that your decisions matter and really want to make it back to the hangar with your megas to progress and build your base. Which brings me to base building. Again, nothing new to the extraction shooter genre, nothing new to the mech genre, but giving your gameplay a purpose other than getting stronger and having fun just adds to the quality of life to the game. Taking a breather and improving your living conditions, adding expansions to the hangar so you can build better materials, weapons, just adds additional immersion to the game. Working with your AI companion that provides actual useful tactical data is an absolute joy to experience. You may queue solo, but having someone that communicates with you makes the game more engaging and interactive. Sure, I can see it getting annoying at times, but when the info matters at critical times during gameplay, or when you blow up your machine, lose your megas, you really feel the result and impact of not having such a strong source of technology at your helm. And then on top of all this, there is a story narrative complete with voice acting and missions. With all the positive aspects I've shared, it doesn't come without some cons or things to be desired. You have total control on customizing your megas, but I do wish there was a way to customize your personal point of view character, even though you're playing mostly from third person inside the mech. I think Cyberpunk 2077 does a great job with this. Even though you never see your character during gameplay, you can still go in, take photos, customize, which just adds to the overall immersion of the game. Would have also been nice to control walking through the hangar, hopping out the Cradle on missions, sort of like Daemon Ex Machina. While this can be unnecessary, there's just something really cool about your mech being an extension of you, instead of you being the mech. I enjoy the feeling of having this powerful arsenal to help or destroy, and I also like the feeling of that consequence of not having that power. Other issues are there's no multiplayer queuing with friends. That could be a deal breaker for some. It looks like playing with specific friends and queuing into lobbies together isn't a thing. The devs spoke about not wanting to turn this into a spawn capping, griefing steamroll, but instead wants you to feel the experience of meeting new people and experiencing the world as a solo drifter. For balancing, I get it, but it's a weird conversation you have to have with your friend when they want to co-op. Which brings me to the next issue, which is the longevity and popularity of the game. The game looks to be very well received in Japan, but here in America, I see tons of people are skeptical about playing for a game where servers can potentially get shut down if the game doesn't perform well in sales or concurrent players. We've seen it happen with Gundam games in the past, and Bandai is notorious for this. But I would also argue that there is a solo mode if the servers ever do get shut down. I agree that it's pretty risky to make an extraction shooter in this day and age, charge money, and not make it co-op with friends. But at the same time, the fidelity of the game is so high, it just might work. In all, I think this game hits the mark for every mecha fan out there with this unique style, fast action gameplay, and online features. And if you haven't had enough, there's also 2 seasons of the anime which absolutely go balls to the wall hard. With that being said, I'm super hyped for this game. I think this is going to be a great addition to the mech genre. I think people need to give this a shot. It hasn't had a lot of publicity, but let me know in the comments what you think about this game, and if you're as hyped as I am. Let me know if it ain't your cup of tea, and with all that, I'll catch you in the next one.
This Magus shall always remain by your side.